Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with VeVe OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. Okay, what happened to Mitch and where is Ben? Let's go over it. So, Mitch Mack had posted, as the former CTO of VeVe, had posted on LinkedIn saying, after an incredible few years, I've wrapped up my time at VeVe, and what a journey it's been. Leading and scaling a fully remote, globally distributed product and technology team has been one of the most rewarding challenges of my career. It reinforced how essential trust, clarity, and shared purpose are in building high-performance cultures across border and time zones. Together, we strategically modernized VeVe's core technology stack, modern technology stack, creating a more robust and scalable foundation that positions the business to lead a rapidly evolving digital space. Launch data-informed, machine-supported, human-in-the-loop, user-centric features that deepen collector engagement and cemented VeVe's role as the place the world comes to collect. Introduced VeVe Comics, the first of its kind, same-day-as-print digital comic platform, collaborating with global icons like Marvel Studios, from concept through launch, a genuine career highlight. I'm incredibly proud of what the team has achieved and even more excited to see what they'll accomplish next. I'll be cheering them on every step of the way. Heartfelt thank you to Daniel Crothers and David Yu for your trust, patience, and belief in me. It's been a privilege to work alongside both of you. You've shown me what tenacity, self-belief, and sheer willpower can achieve. From our small corner here in New Zealand, you've connected the world's most iconic entertainment brands to the collectors around the globe. It's been nothing short of inspiring. As for me, I'm on the lookout for the next challenge. AI's rapid proliferation is a more technological shift, its strategic inflection point, reshaping how problems are solved and how value is created and realized. This is a new frontier. It's rich with potential, but too often hype fuels urgency without direction, creating busy work, amplifying ambiguity, and a clouding path forward. Exceptional product operators thrive in these conditions. They cut through complexity, ground innovation in customer value with strategic focus and deliberate intent to create momentum that matters. One thing experience has taught me is that speed creates momentum, but clarity delivers results. The best work happens when urgency is anchored in purpose and execution is tied to outcomes that are measurable, meaningful, and lasting. If you're building something bold and ambitious, navigating change, or just want to jam and swap ideas, let's connect. And he has a couple of pictures in there with the VeVe team, with Dan and David and others. And you know what, we wish him well. It seems that the two, both VeVe and Mitch, had separated pretty amicably. It seems that they've gone on and just done. Now, one of the things that I wish they would do, and I feel like this is how when a president has their first 100 days, you have people giving them, grades. Like, how did he do? Well, how did the president do domestically, foreignly, economically, communicative-wise? And if I were to give VeVe a grade on communication, it would probably get a C+. An A would just be absolutely going off and saying, hey, here's what's going to happen before it happens. And I'm not even talking about timelines. Hey, we're going to do this on this day, because in tech, timelines just go out the window literally as soon as you have a plan in place. As soon as you have an estimation, that tends to, like I said, go out the window. But just kind of giving us stuff that, again, we kind of have to find out on ourselves. Back in the day, like 2 months ago, not even, they had posted on their Discord that, like, hey, we're not going to be going to London. And then like 9 hours later, they posted it on X. And like, that just invites in FUD. That just invites in criticism. That doesn't need to happen. Just blast it everywhere all at once. Normally, they are good with that. Any type of news that happens. Granted, that was a bit negative news, but then you release it only one place. It looks like it's trying to be hid. And then the FUD gets in there and people percolate on it, and massive FUD up until they finally announce it officially over on X. So again, their communication has been pretty bad. Granted, they do eventually, everything that they usually comes true at some point. They go and they do that. But yeah, the timelines, and I'll put that in with communication, never been their strong suit. And communication, like getting ahead of these things. Again, like, so say the app update. We're not even go to the app update. Let's go through the affiliate program. Now, the affiliate program was done or helped being built by a company that does not have great reviews. Now, if somebody does a little bit digging into the company that went on and helped with the affiliate program, you'd see, okay, there's only so many companies in the world that does this, and these are one of the best ones, so that makes sense. But on the surface, people are, all right, they Google the company, and the reviews are trash. Obviously, reviews are not their strong point. I guess they don't push that from their customers, like, hey, have your customers rate us 5 stars. Again, if they would have just been communicative about that, and said like, hey, listen, there's only a certain amount of companies in the world that does this. These are one of the leading ones. Ignore the reviews. And, they just didn't do that. So having a joint message between VeVe and some of these guys, like just saying, like, just get ahead of it, saying like, hey, Mitch, we've loved having you here. This is great. Nothing but good things. Let us know if you ever need a reference, although I'm sure you won't need it. Because again, it seems that they split amicably. And they just... they didn't do that, and now let's get to Ben Rose. I won't go over the context of any private messages with Ben, because that should stay private. I still love Ben. He as of right now, it seems that technically nobody knows what happens. Again, VeVe hasn't announced anything, and you have a bunch of the fudders are just going to be fudders. It's like the same thing when the economy collapses. The rich stay rich. The poor stay poor, middle class that are affected. So you have the moon boys that are going to do what they do. You have the fudders that are going to do what they do and just fudding everything, even when there's nothing to fud. But with this, again, kind of 2 weeks where, hasn't been here. And I, even before then, a couple weeks back, shot a message like, hey, blah, 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 blah. Again, I don't want to really give context of it. And then... that was it. That was the last I heard. And it seems that VeVe's been doing a bit of restructuring. They've been doing a lot of hiring, doing a lot of disestablishing of jobs. And now if we play the dominoes out and do a thought experiment and say like, okay, let's say Ben's gone. Okay. Fudders will just immediately say like, oh, VeVe's collapsing, they're done. And obviously this is why we don't listen to them. But let's go out and try to figure out the reasons why, or point out the reasons why. So some type of level-headed pontification. Couldn't think of that word. If we go in timelines, it was a couple weeks ago, again, that I messaged Ben, where everyone was kind of on pins and needles, waiting to see what was going to happen with the lawsuit, right? And now, obviously, a lot of that went over in VeVe's favor. They didn't have to pay OMI to anyone. They didn't have to, that was it. They didn't have to pay OMI to anyone. They could put it behind them. They paid a little bit in legal fees and just some shares of the company that was always going to happen anyway. That's fine. Relatively minute amount. But again, let's talk about wind the clocks back when Ben got hired. It was apparent that David had a lot of stuff. He always has a lot of stuff on his plate. Running a company, dealing with licensors, and then dealing with a lawsuit at the same time is just very, very hard. So in comes Ben. David can focus on the lawsuit. David can focus on licensing. Have someone else run the company. And right around the time of the lawsuit, that, again, we were going to get the ruling on it, then it seems like Ben disappears. The way I'm interpreting this is that, hey, and again, this is just my interpretation of it. Last year, you had a former president, Donald J. Trump, that was tried in New York. A lot of liberal judges that hate him in what was essentially a circus, and they made him a felony like 38 times. Like, they made him a felon like 38 times, and it, obviously ridiculous. And if that could happen to a former president, clearly judges can be bought. So in my mind, I'd be thinking, okay, what if, God forbid, somehow he shall not be named the person that was in a lawsuit with Orbis and Acomia? Like, okay, what if he like pays off a judge? What if he goes in and is like so corrupt, and they, and what if he tries to get him on something, these trumped up charges that, and then David and Dan have to go to jail, right? God forbid. Obviously that would never happen in a real court. And again, it didn't. The judge seemed to be fairly fair. It would look really bad if the two founding members had to go to jail and no one was left to run the company. So, okay, you hire someone. And again, this is my interpretation of it. Now that the lawsuit is over, it might seem that, oh, hey, might be no need to pay another CEO's salary because again, David, it seems like he's back to running the company pretty much full time. He's been very active in spaces. He's been actively talking about OMI. He's going to come on my channel at some point in the next month or so. And again, obviously doing just getting back in the swing of things. Seems like he's getting back into the spotlight. And again, whatever, and maybe it had nothing to do with that. Maybe it was a play by Ben Rose where he's like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to buy part of the company. And now that I've set up everything that I need to do, it's like Peppermint Patty giving Charlie Brown like a 50-1 lead, right? You know, can't unless you really screw up, you can't mess up a 50-1 lead. Everything's set up. You have the affiliate program that's set up. We got out VeVe'Verse for you, did X, Y, and Z, all of this. Clear skies ahead to the bull market. It's right here. And maybe Ben said like, okay, I own part of the company. Nobody can mess this up. I'm going to go collect another salary elsewhere. And again, someone like Ben that was able to go in and kind of help shape up VeVe, former head of like New Zealand or Australia Binance, whatever it was. Pretty competent, pretty conscientious, very smart guy. Again, anyone that's seen interviews, all right, probably a little bit of a workaholic. He'll be good for us. They might have made him an offer he couldn't refuse. And I wouldn't blame him saying like, okay, I've set stuff up here. I already own part of the company. Let me get another salary elsewhere. I would hate to see him go. Obviously, I as long as everything was kosher, I hope the best for him. He was, I don't want to steal Doc's story. Dr. Stuff talked about this where he wasn't around for a while, and Ben actually, gave him a message, reached out, said like, hey, are you okay? And that tracks. He did the same thing with me. It was like 2 days I didn't go live. Reminds me back in the day when I was doing like 4 Earth 2 videos a day. People get nervous they didn't see 3 uploads a day. He gave me a call. I was like, hey, you haven't been on in like 36 hours. You good? And I was like, listen, I just had to do a favor for a friend. And that's how I got up to like 218 million OMI at that time. I think I have like 220 now. Got a tiny bit more. And it was fine. But he reached out and it seemed like he cared. And it could have been that he just really cared about the, VeVe, like, hey, one of my main influencers is not, check up on him. Or it just could have been like, hey man, you all right? Because obviously we've had a relationship, professional relationship. And so again, maybe it was that. Maybe Ben just like played a bunch of 4D chess, get part of this company, go up here, maybe he'll buy another part of another company. Very smart dude. Or it could be somewhere in the middle where it's like, hey, and again, Mitch looks like he's going to go find an AI job somewhere. Cool. Mitch did what he set out to do. He restructured a lot of VeVe. Granted, after one of the app updates, which was horrible, fixed that real quick. And now it seems like anyone wants to build anything on the app, it looks like they can, because now they're dealing with legit code, not spaghetti code like it was years ago. So yeah, now they could take that salary that they were paying former CTO Mitch and they could reallocate it elsewhere. Now, whatever salary that they were paying Ben or whatever compensation plan they had up to this point, as he maybe goes off elsewhere, they could take that salary that they would be paying him and they could reallocate it elsewhere. But let's talk about that. It's like, okay, they pulled out of London. They they kind of let Mitch go. They looks like Ben's kind of not there anymore. What's going on? Are they hurting for money? Well, let's go through it. Yeah, they have been making less money every year for the last I think since 2022, a bit less each year. And how long can they do that for? I'm gonna say, well, it depends what their run rate is, but again, still grossing several $100,000 a month. And now the fact that, and here's another thing that they haven't publicized yet. They haven't said like what a boon it is for them, how bullish it is. We just had a court ruling on Apple that states that they can no longer force people to buy stuff inside the app, where they get a take of 30% of what of what sales go on there. That was absolute BS. And shout out to Epic Games over there with Fortnite and stuff. fighting that. So the judge ruled that, yeah, Apple is not allowed to do that. Heck, Apple. Good. Have Apple pay some damages as far as I'm concerned. And at some point, and again, that you're going to have a link in the app, and it's going to have to link to, to app.vv.me, the website, whatever it is. But that's going to be an additional 30% to their bottom line. That is very bullish, and they haven't talked about any of that. It seems like the trade war is about to be like an end. It seems like you have a bunch of guidance for crypto, a bunch of guidance for NFTs, and the company hasn't gone on and talked about, like, I'm doing it, unless you're hearing it from, like, people watch my videos, or maybe like Crypto Rain, his videos, or the OMI is my homie show. None of the people on Spaces are talking about it. So it should not fall on like the VeVe YouTubers with experience in this space. It should come from somebody in the company that says, like, hey, here's this piece of news that just dropped. Here's what can happen. And they just, here's how it benefits us. And they haven't done that, and that would be insanely bullish for the amount of people that are in VeVe, in OMI right now. And it would give other people that are like kind of on the fence a little bit more reason to get in. And it's just they haven't been doing that. So you do have to go in and kind of be critical where it's needed. So as far as revenue, yeah, the revenue's been down, except for this month. Actually this last week, we've had a influx in users. Users have been up like a good 40-50%, 40-ish percent. And it seems that that's going to continue carrying on. Are the bad times over? Are we about to go into the banana zone? And obviously when that time comes, and I think Ben might have seen this as well, it's not really going to matter what other stuff is being done in the background. When it comes, it's just going to come. Again, you have Decentraland and Sandbox that have like a couple of purchases each day. They have a couple of users each day, and their tokens are hundreds of millions of dollars market cap, and OMI's is at like 50 something. So again, I think that there is a very big gap that needs to be filled, and that's if OMI and VeVe were kind of on the same level as Sandbox and Decentraland, and they're clearly like years ahead, especially as far as usership and money goes. So do they maybe not have as much in the war chest as they once did? Obviously, yeah, of course. You can't be, if you're operating at X amount of margin because you have so much revenue and that revenue depletes, so do the margins. So have they been operating at a loss for a little while? Probably. I'm sure you guys know of people that, some people with $10,000 is like, oh my God, I'm broke. Oh my God, like $10,000 is like negative money, like in the account, right? And then you have some people with $10,000 like, I'm rich. I feel like VeVe's probably the former, where they could have several $1 million in their account and be like, all right, I'm broke. Gotta rein everything in. Gotta lean back. Gotta be on the Olympic scrimping team. I think that's probably what's happening. Again, be advised, by like 2022, they had grossed like $400 million. And obviously that's gross. They have a good amount in their war chest, or at least they had, and even now. So as far as people saying like, hey, we're very worried, VeVe has no money left. Unless you show me like a balance sheet or a P&L that says that, I will not believe that. For the most part, probably going to be fine. Even if they had like $1 million left and they had a 9-month run rate, I'd be like, okay. Again, they're about to make a lot of that money back with getting that additional 30% from Apple, so that's great. May is going to be, like I said, 500,000, and I've made a couple of videos on how they're going to get thousands, but probably thousands of users just from me alone, just from the comics and the meme communities I've been talking to. That'll be on VeVe. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff where I could fall off the face of the earth. Company would be fine because of what's coming. So anyway, guys, that's just my kind of thoughts on it. A lot of you might have been like, okay, but where is Ben Rose? Guys, I don't know. wherever he is, whatever he's doing. I hope things are going well for him, as long as everything is amicable. They will never make me hate you, Ben, because you were very nice to me. So anyway, guys, that'll be it for me today. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. Bye, guys. Meow, meow, meow.